Hi boys and girls, and welcome to your second English online learning video with me, Teacher Bear, for grades 3 and 4. Today we're going to look at a very important verb, the verb to be. Okay, and for the verb to be, it's very important because we use it a lot, but it can also be tricky because we have to change it depending on what our subject is. So to look at this, we're going to fill in this chart together. And while doing that, I'm going to give you example sentences that I want you to try and read along to as they come on the screen. Okay, so we're going to need a subject in this column and what the verb to be changes into with that subject. So the first one we're going to look at is I. Okay, I meaning me. What form of to be do we get for I? Like in the example sentence, I happy. What goes in the blank? If you said am, you are correct. I am happy. Okay? We could use this to describe ourselves. I am tall. Okay? I am Teacher Bear. Okay, we can use to be to answer those kinds of questions. What are we? Who are we? Where are we? I am running. So you can see we use the verb to be can also tell us what we are doing, usually by adding ing to a different verb. Okay, now we're going to look at you. What does to be look like with you? Like in the sentence, you smart. If you said are, you are correct. You are correct, and you are smart. Okay. You are a student. You are studying. Okay, the next one breaks down to 3 different pronouns, but they all follow the same rule with the verb to be. So the first one is he. What does that mean? That usually means for a boy or a man. What about she? A girl or a woman. And it. This is anything that's not a boy or a girl, usually things like a robot or a pencil. Okay, let's look at some example sentences to think what word goes in the blank. He, fat. She, funny. It, plastic. What goes in the blank? If you said is, you are correct. So our example sentences become, he is fat. But we can give he a name. Let's say his name is Dan. Now, we can use his name in the sentence instead of he. But what happens to the verb to be? When we take Dan, his name, switch it with the pronoun he, did the verb to be change? No, it still is. So now we have Dan is fat. Okay? Let's look at another example sentence. Dan is taking a selfie. Okay, let's look at the girl. She is funny. Let's say her name is Jill. If we take her name, switch it with the pronoun she, the verb to be stays is. Jill is funny. Jill is making a face. Can you make a funny face? Okay, for it is plastic. What is this? It is it's a robot. Or for this, we're going to say the robot. Do the same thing we did with Dan and Jill. Take what it is, the robot, switch it with the pronoun it, and now we have the robot is plastic. Okay, what is the robot doing? The robot is standing. Okay, that's he, she, and it. The next one is we. We is talking about more than one person with me too. Okay, so what does to be look like with we? Like in we at home. If you said are, you are correct. We are at home. Okay, it's the same as you. Okay, we use are. Let's look at some examples. We are good friends. What are we doing? We are playing games. This is a picture of my brother and I. And that's how we might write about it in a sentence. My brother and I. But we could also say we. What are we doing in this picture? We are yelling. Ah! Yeah, you can see our mouths were yelling in the picture. Same thing we did with Dan, Jill, and the robot. We can take my brother and I and switch it with we. Do you think are will change? No, are stays the same. My brother and I are yelling. Let's look at another example. This is a picture of you sitting at your computer studying, learning English. This is a picture of me looking great. Together, we are you and I, okay? But we might also use we instead. So how can we describe you and I? We are awesome. Yeah, we are. We're pretty awesome. Okay, same as my brother and I, we can take you and I, switch it with we, and you and I are awesome. Don't you ever forget that. We are awesome. You and I are awesome. Okay, the last one is they. This is when we're talking about more than one person that's not with us. Okay, they, them. What does to be change to with they? Like in they, too loud. If you said are again, you are correct. They are too loud. So here we can see you, we, and they, the verb to be changes to are. Let's look at some examples. Here's a boy and a girl. Let's call them Jack and Mary. How can we describe Jack and Mary? They are in love. Aw, they're in love. They are in love. Same as before, we can take their names, switch it with the pronoun, and the rest of the sentence will stay the same. Jack and Mary are in love. Okay, Jack and Mary are in love. Let's do one more example with they. Who are they? I think we know some of these people. They are superheroes. And what are superheroes doing all the time? They are saving the world. Okay, keeping us safe. Okay, and again, same as before. We take the word superheroes, switch it with the pronoun they, and the rest of the sentence does not change. Superheroes are saving the world. Okay. The last thing I want to look at real quick is a way to make these two words shorter, easier to write and easier to say by taking the subject and the verb to be and combining them together. I'm going to show you how we can do that real quick. First with I. Let's use an example sentence as well. I am teaching. The first thing we want to do is to the verb to be, cross out the first letter and add a mark, which we call an apostrophe, but we don't need to remember that. Let's just call it the mark. So we cross out the first letter, add the mark, bring the I over, bring the M and the mark over, and it makes I'm. So I am teaching becomes I'm teaching. Okay, let's look at you. You are amazing. Yes, you are. Same as before. We cross out the first letter, replace it with the mark, bring them together, and it makes your. You are amazing becomes you're amazing. You're amazing. Okay. He, she, and it. He is at school, she is at school, it is at school. Following the rule, we cross out the first letter, we add the mark, bring our subject to our verb, and there we have he's, she's, it's. Okay? He, she, it is at school. He's at school. She's at school. It's at school. Okay? We are learning online. Cross out the first letter, add the mark, bring them together. We're. We are learning online. We're learning online. We're learning online. And the last one, they. They are in America. Cross out the first letter, add the mark, bring them together. There. They are in America. They're in America. They're in America. Okay, and that's how we make our verb to be shorter and how we change it with different subjects. I hope that you guys can use this in your English because we use the verb to be a lot. And if you can get changing it to the subject correct, it makes your English sound a lot better. Okay, thanks for coming by, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.